Hey, welcome to the Junk Project. I'm your host, Michelle Hill, and today we have an awesome opportunity to be joined with our guest, another Michelle.
That's all right. We spell our names the right way.
Correct. I know. I love it. I love it. That's what I tell people. You got to spell it with two L's, otherwise it's not correct. So.
Right. I agree. Totally.
All right. Share with us, Michelle, what you do and your story. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Michelle, with two L's. I really appreciate it.
I love that.
My name is Michelle Fuller. My initials are MF, which is pretty cool. I'm not even mad about it. I am a transformation coach. I really, my whole goal is to help women break through the barriers that they build inside their mind. My story really began about 5 years ago. I was brought to my emotional knees after a breakup and the move of my dad, who I adore, from Texas to Florida. It doesn't seem outwardly like those two things would cause me as much pain as I was in, but you know, when you don't deal with the things that you have pushed away for so long, all of those memories and all of that pain and all of those things that you pushed away, they start building and they reinforce whatever you're feeling at the time. And that was truly where I was. I am divorced twice. I am a single mom. And at that time I was in my early 40s. And when this relationship ended, I built all these stories around it and what it meant for me. And I was in such a state of desperation. But what I did, thankfully, was hire a coach who completely transformed my life. And what he was able to do was take me back in time and help me find out where my story really began. And that was in the relationship with my mom. My mom passed away when I was 14. However, the relationship that she and I had when she was living was pretty toxic. I have completely transcended that at this point. I understand why she was the way she was. And I learned so much about her and so much about myself and how I showed up in life. It was just the cornerstone of everything that I do now. In all of my posts, I say embrace the burn. And I truly mean it. People get confused because it's used a lot in coaching for physical workouts. Mm-hmm. But I'm not talking about the physical burn. I'm talking about the mental burn, right?
Yeah.
The mental burn to me is all the things that we avoid. Back in the day, 5 years ago, my burn was taking responsibility for my life and my choices and my actions. But it was also practicing forgiveness, which I refused to do up until that point. And then also just facing my past. Those three things were pivotal for me, completely changed who I was, changed how I showed up in life. I moved to Austin, Texas, less than 6 months after I hired that coach. I started dating again. I'm happily engaged right now. I've been with my fiance for 3 years. Yeah. We have built an incredible relationship full of love, joy, and peace. And I started my own coaching practice so I could help women do the same thing, because I truly believe that we can have the lives that we want. We're in complete control, but when you don't know, you don't know. And I love helping women create those lives they want and help them create those aha moments for themselves, because that's where all change starts.
Yeah. I just resonate with a lot that you said, because I've had a traumatic past, and how I deal with it is, forgiveness is ultimate, right? It took me years to learn this. And, but really I kind of joke and I go, okay, I just shove it down a deep hole, right? Mm-hmm. Because how I look at it is, okay, what's done is done. Mm-hmm. Can't be changed, can't be fixed, but it's done. Let it go, move on. So that's, I don't know if that's correct, or a good way to do it, but that's what I've done. Every once in a blue moon, something will regurgitate back up and I just shove it back down. But in all aspects of it, I've learned, forgiveness. I've learned how to put myself in other people's shoes, including
Mhm.
people that have hurt me, right? And I'm not going to say what they did was, that changed anything, but it's changed my perspective on everything. And it's allowed me to just let go and be free. I mean,
Oh my
I have
gosh.
people bring stuff up from 10 years ago, and I'm like, why? I mean, I'm not this person.
Mhm.
I can't change anything about 10 years ago to now. I can't bring 10 years ago here. So why we keep bringing it up, it's really funny because one time I got in an argument with a coworker. This is before I started my own business. And literally, I mean, face to face arguing. I mean, we were like nose to nose, right? And the next day, I'm talking to him like we never had the argument. And he kept trying to argue again. And I said, look, man, that was yesterday. We're done. I'm done. I don't bring back up yesterday. Today's today. I'm dealing with today. Tomorrow's tomorrow. And that's it. And so it shocks people because I've been really good at able to do that. I don't care what we argued about yesterday. We're definitely not talking about it today. And that's it. And a lot of people either want to continue to argue or just don't know
Oh
how
yeah.
to let go, and it's really funny. But it is amazing with when you're able to learn forgiveness and things like that, just how it, I mean, just how free you feel,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
just doesn't matter. You cut me off, whatever, in traffic, I don't care. I mean, I literally take it to everything I do. I don't care, right? So um how um how would you say that it has helped some of the ladies that if you've helped? I mean, is it allowed them to do more, or are they starting their own business, or is it just in general trying to help them?
Well, the women that I work with right now, they are working on different things. And the way that I approach coaching is really, there are many different avenues that you can take when you're a coach. But I really get to know them and find out what's important to them. And then I let them decide what they want to work on,
That's
because
cool.
the burn is always known. The things that we avoid are no secret to us.
Mhm.
And the burn is really different for each person. It's really personal, but we're all keenly aware of the things that we avoid. It's not this huge secret.
Yeah.
And we all know what we should be doing, but we're not all doing it. And, sometimes women don't know what they want, and that's totally okay. A lot of us meander through life not knowing what our mission is or what our purpose is. And sometimes we just need someone to shine a light on us and help us discover that. And that can be the change that sets the stage for everything else. And some women do know what they want, but they don't know how to get it, and they need someone that's going to frankly kick their ass and hold them accountable. And I always say, yes, I am the safe space for you. I'm always going to be a champion for your vision, but I'm also going to kick your ass to do the things that you say that you want, because you should be doing them. That's what you pay me for.
Right.
And, I'll piggyback on that, and I'll just say this: coaches sometimes get a bad rap, and I completely understand why. However, when you hire a coach, you should have a strong connection with them. You should want to pay them and work with them. And I actually never take on a client unless I talk to them first, because I should want to work with you as well. It's a relationship, and it needs to go both ways, or there's not going to be accountability on either part. I shouldn't resent working with clients, and clients shouldn't resent working with me or paying me to help them. Yeah, I love it.
It
For
sounds
me,
awesome.
it is sharing my message on stage and on social media and with my clients. It's been just incredible for me. And it's so funny. I didn't know what I was supposed to do either. And I'll just take you back in time just a little bit, just so your audience can maybe get a window to what they're here for if they don't know. When I was little, I mean, we're talking little, 5, 6, I used to clean my grandparents' house all the time. They were dirt poor. They lived in this teeny home. It was only 2 bedrooms, linoleum floors. And my grandmother she didn't clean. And I so wanted to help her. And so I was always straightening up and doing the dishes and making everything clean. And, I did it because I loved her so much and I was trying to make her life easier. Well, that was a common thread my entire life. When I babysat in my early teens, I did the same thing. And I can remember sitting in rooms, with the girls that I would babysit, and I would go, okay, girls, we're going to get organized. I'm going to tell you how to do it so you guys can, have these really incredible lives. I'm sitting here thinking now, how strange is that? But it was that voice inside me that was going, you're meant to help people. You're meant to show them how to do things that can improve their lives. And when I was going back over my own life, trying to figure out what can I do to help people? What can I do to help them create the change that they want? It made itself apparent to me in that first coaching call that I had 5 years ago. And it really just called to my heart that my message, all of the pain, the things that I had been through, how I was able to transcend and transform those stories was going to be my message for other women to show them what's available to them.
I love that because I too, like I was in junior high and all my friends were like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this. And I was very sheltered in my life for other reasons, but I was very sheltered. So I thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. Right. And so all my life, literally, I just thought I was POS and I had no purpose. And God really kind of cracks me up because toward, as I was getting older, I'm like, geez, I'll just be a housewife. I just want to be a housewife and have a bunch of kids. I'm good with that. I thought that was the coolest thing. God doesn't quite work that way, not in my life anyway, right? So I was not a housewife per se. I was a caretaker. So I met my first husband. I was 18. He was 38. He was disabled when I met him. And I had been shooting up speed and doing a bunch of drugs at 18 when I met him. My parents had me in and out of girls homes and rehabs from 12 to 18. So they really tried hard financially too to get me off drugs. All my late husband did was say, hey, you're worth more than that. And I'm like, oh, damn, what? I didn't think I was worth anything, right? Quit cold turkey, never went back. And so he was disabled. His mom was disabled. So we moved in with her. And then I had my son a year later. So I took care of him. I had to take care of the house and mow the yard. And then during this time too, we had invented a parking brake for shopping carts. So now I'm trying to be an entrepreneur as well, because we were poor and I hated being poor and on welfare. I was doing everything I could, to change that. Of course, God's like, yeah, no. So we were married 10 years and I was 24/7 with them because they were disabled. And in 2000, my first husband passed away. And that led to a different roller coaster. But what I do kind of find funny looking back is, I've always just wanted to be a housewife. I'm beyond being a housewife. I'm too old for that. My kids are grown. So I'm just like, okay, God, whatever road you want me to go down, whatever adventures you got, I'm game. Let's go, And it's just funny because some people would think, to be a housewife is not aspiring to be anything, but I really believe it. A housewife is way more important than people realize because you get to influence your kids,
right?
And bring them up with a better mentality and more confidence and things like that if you just threw them in a daycare, they're just not going to get. So people don't give housewives as much credit as I believe they deserve. But I love that story because I just can relate to everything, that you say and you go through. And I didn't realize how much I could do that with you. So that's funny, but it sounds like you have just the most amazing business and, you really get to see the transformation that you change in people's lives. And I mean, that's got to be just fascinating, you know, to see him go from point A to point B, and you're like, man, this is great, you know?
Yeah, to watch the light bulb go off, the
Yeah.
aha moments that are the most, that bring me the most joy for sure. I
Yeah.
really truly feel like, we're all on different journeys and we're all put on different paths. And some of it, is, well, all of it is truly by choice for the most part. But I feel like, our experiences and how we transcend, what happens to us in life, when we learned how to do that, it's really important that we share that.
Yeah.
Because women, especially, we feel like we're alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't begin to tell you how alone I felt. Outwardly, people would look at me and go, oh, she's doing well. She has a good job. She's a single parent, but no one understood the shit show that was going on in my mind. I felt completely worthless. I doubted myself all the time. I knew that I was called to a higher purpose. I had no idea what that was. I felt incredibly stuck. And, I had all these stories built around my marriages and the divorces and all of the bad relationships. And, I was just, I was in such a desperate place. And that last relationship ending and my dad moving needed to happen. If those things had not happened, the things that you see now would not be here. My dad moving ultimately was the best thing that ever happened to me. I love him and I adore him. But what it allowed me to do was move into a different city. And I would have never done that if my dad had stayed. And when you look back and you've learned the lesson, not only does it make you grateful for those moments, I always say, when you can look at the person who broke you and you can be grateful for them doing that because you caught the lesson, then you've healed. And I can look back in my past at every single thing that broke my heart, that tried to stop me. And I can be grateful for every experience because now I get to share it with other women so they know they are not alone. And I can show them how to change that story so they can go off and live the lives that they truly deserve.
I love this. And so on this, because I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
What do you think your superpower is? Or
Oh,
what is your superpower? Let me ask it that. What is your superpower? Because I think I know what yours is, but I want to see what you say.
you know what? Gosh, I don't know. My superpower is in my message, I feel like. I'm kind of an anomaly. So I love gangster rap, but I also love crystals. I'm a really weird chick. I believe that all of the things that I've been through have completely changed the way that I show up in life. And the reason I so strongly believe that my message and my voice is my superpower is because if you had known me in high school, if you had even known me back then, you would go, what in the hell? What is going on? I was shy. I was little orphan Annie growing up. I had strawberry blonde hair and freckles all over my face. I was the target of every single bully in school, not only because I looked different, but also because I never took up for myself. And then my mom passed away when I was 14. By the time I graduated from high school, I was about 180 pounds. And I really went through life just so insecure and feeling so unworthy. And most people look at me now and they're like, wow, she's really blunt. She uses strong language. She's very empowered. She says what's on her mind. And yes, that Michelle, she's always been there, but this is what I did. I just shrunk. I always would shrink. I would water down who I was and I would keep on doing it because that was what I was told to do. And I thought that's who I had to be as a female. I didn't know that I could use my voice for good. And so now that I have this platform and I've gotten way past the opinions of others, I just say whatever is on my mind. And people who love it resonate with it, and people who don't drop off. And that's okay. And I'm okay with that.
I feel exactly that way. And what I feel like your superpower is, or if we're going to add to it, I think it's forgiveness as well, because
oh yeah, for sure.
People don't realize it is difficult to teach yourself how to do this.
Oh gosh, so
but
hard.
once you get past that, I mean, it is the most amazing and freeing feeling there is, to be able to forgive, anybody, anything. And so I felt like that was one of your superpowers.
Thank you.
Really good. You're welcome. Okay, so I have another question for you.
Sure.
If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it say?
Wow, there's so many things that I would want to say. You are in control of your life.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like to make notes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'll have a couple more questions. What is the funniest or craziest thing you've ever done?
Oh gosh, what's the funniest thing I've ever done? Okay. I'm a natural blonde, and this isn't even the funniest, but it's pretty funny. I had this date with this guy that I worked with, and this was over 10 years ago. I was in a corporate environment, and he was the bee's knees, so to speak. Really good looking, charming, tall. So anyways, we have this date, and my son at the time was 4. Gosh, this was 20 years ago. Wow. Because my son just turned 25 this month.
Oh, well.
Anyways, we go off to this steakhouse. It's kind of it's Big Bucks, I think, or it was attached to Bass Pro.
Mhm.
Okay. So it was a lot of gaming meat.
Yeah.
But I was trying to play it really cool because he chose. We show up, we sit down. I have no idea what to order. Okay. I don't eat weird meat. Even though I grew up in the South, I don't eat venison, which is blasphemy. I know, but
yeah.
we sit down and I order the safest thing that I can see on the menu, which is buffalo meatballs and spaghetti. I thought, how bad can this be? Right. I start eating the spaghetti and I start eating the meat, and it tasted weird to me, but I tried to power through because I was trying to act super cool on this date.
Mhm.
Anyways, box up the food. I didn't eat it all. I took it home. The next day, I give it to my son as leftovers because I don't want it. And the guy that I had been on the date with calls me, and I'm standing in my apartment. I'm on the phone. This is back in the day when you had a phone that actually connected to a wall. Okay.
Yeah.
And he says, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm feeding my son the leftovers from the night before. And he goes, does he like buffalo meat? And I didn't say anything. And he goes, hello? And I go, no, that wasn't buffalo meat. And he goes, yes, it was. He goes, it said buffalo meat on the menu. And I go, oh my God, I thought that meant they were big.
Oh, that's funny.
And he said nothing. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah.
But yeah, true to nature, I see the forest and not the trees.
Yeah, that's me. I remember one time I went on a date. It was after my first husband passed away. It was like a lunch date. Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing was, I've been married to this man for 10 years, 24/7 with him. So we go to an Italian restaurant, and I know you're not supposed to double dip, right? Right. And so he has some French bread, and I don't see him do anything. I just see all of a sudden he's got the sauce on it. And I go, dude, how'd you do that? Couldn't figure it out. And he picks up the cup and he goes, I poured it on here just like that. And I went, oh my God, I never would have thought of that. It just didn't occur to me that because I'm trying to figure out how to get the sauce to go on my bread too, right? And I can't dip it, And so it was just the funniest thing, but it was just so easy. I'm like, I didn't even think to pick up the cup and pour it. So it was like
the struggle is so real, isn't it?
I just don't think like that sometimes. Other times I'm like, I come up with this great stuff and I'm like, how is it that I can't figure out how to put sauce on my bread without dipping it? But I can come up with this idea over here and it's just amazing, right? And I'm like, okay, the right and the left are not working with each other anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, geniuses come in all shapes and forms, right?
Yeah. My late husband had an IQ of 168, so he's super smart. And I said, I said, you know, God's punishing you, right? He goes, why is that? And I said, because my IQ is nowhere near there, buddy. You're just not getting the same level you deserve. So that's always my joke. I mean, I don't know my IQ, but I can promise you it's not 168.
168. That's pretty amazing, though.
Oh man, yeah, he was smart. I just drained him. I mean, you know, I'd ask him all these words. I mean, just everything. I didn't even know how to read. I don't even know what you call it on the clocks anymore. But I could read digital, but I couldn't read the other kind. He taught me how to do that. I mean, it was very sheltered. So it was just funny what he had to teach me, you know, just basic things I just didn't know. And it wasn't against my parents. There were just other issues there and, you know, kind of got put over here. So it's all good. So I have one last question.
Okay.
And that is, how do you get rid of the trash in your life when it piles up?
Ooh. Well, it doesn't pile up as much as it used to, right? The things that I do that are really important, and I think this goes for everyone, whether you hire a coach or you are just on your own journey, reading has been extremely, extremely pivotal for me. There's not a book that hasn't been written that can't help you in some way. Okay. But secondly, journaling, that has been pivotal, and meditation, getting quiet. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. And some of the best aha moments I've had beyond the coaching space have been in the moments of silence, because we are busy people and we have so many things that can distract us from what we are supposed to be doing. In order to hear the answer to the prayer that we are constantly asking every single day, we must get quiet so we can hear it. And then the other thing that I would say, you know, to go back to the forgiveness piece just real quick, is this. You know, forgiveness is really a practice. Let's stop making ourselves wrong because we can't get it done in one time. It took me months to forgive my mother, but I practiced it every single day until I felt the release, right? The whoosh. And I also forgave myself. And that was huge for me. I wrote myself a letter and I got very detailed and I got very raw and I got very real. And I forgave Michelle for who she was and what she did and what she put up with. And I honored why she protected herself the way that she did. And then I burned it.
I love that. I forgave myself, but I never thought of writing a letter to myself. Yeah. So I really like that concept. But it's really funny because I might do something stupid or what I think is stupid, right? Or maybe I cut somebody off in traffic and I was like, okay, that I was being a jerk. And I'll be like, okay, sorry. I mean, they don't hear me apologize, but I do say it out loud. And then I'm like, okay, don't do it again. Let it go. You know, just little things like that. But I love writing to myself. I haven't done that. I do struggle with meditation. Sitting still for 5 minutes is very difficult for me. So, how long do you meditate for?
You know, I have different music that I listen to. That's the only way that I can do it because my mind races and it's a way to calm me down. I also do guided meditations. I love the guided meditations when I know that it's going to be more challenging for me to sit still for a period of time. And I have one, it's by Vishen. Oh, gosh, I'm going to mess up his name. He's the leader of Mind Valley, if you've ever heard of that. And it's called a 6-phase meditation, I think. But essentially what he does is he takes you down, right? He gets you calm. He has you send light to your house and to your family and to the city and to the world. And I love that, right? Because I think that's so important. And it's more important now than ever. Yeah. But then he also has you forgive 2 or 3 people that have hurt you, right? It could have been yesterday, today. It could have been something that triggered you. And then he also has you vision. Think about yourself in the future, the person you want to be. It takes about 20 minutes, but the music that it's set to is incredible. And just the guidance of his voice, it's you will come out of that and you will feel completely different every single time. It's one of my absolute favorites.
I love it. I wrote it down. I'm gonna check into it, see if I can find it. If not, I'll reach out to you on Facebook and
Yeah,
we'll get
I'll
more
send you the
information.
link.
Okay.
When you post the podcast, you can add that to
Yes.
it because it's just so pivotal. If you can create 20 minutes in your day to do this, if you did it 3 times a week, you would feel so incredibly, so much better.
Yeah. And well, and that's what I want to do is start changing some habits, even if I can, even if it's just a little bit one day and a little bit another day, you know, just get it started.
Right.
I would love for you to leave your contact information for our audience so they can reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is oneboldmf.com. That's right. I do use my initials in my branding.
I love it.
I'm on Facebook, Michelle Fuller. The background of my picture is pink, which is my absolute favorite color. And then I'm also on Instagram at onebold_mf.
My initials suck. It's MAMMEH. So meh. So I'm like, that
well,
sucks.
I'll tell you a funny story. My initials are MLF. So if you say it like a word.
Yeah, I love I get it now.
Yeah, I don't put my initials on anything. I don't put them on planners. I'm never going to be that girl that gets to have a monogram t-shirt that looks really cool because my initials are
too similar to something else.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. That's funny. That's so funny. Well, we appreciate you talking with our audience today. It's so amazing and truly inspiring what you do and the people you get to help. And I think that's so fascinating. I don't think I realized to the degree that you do this too. And so I'm really fascinated with this. And I hope y'all listening that you enjoyed this as much as I did. It was truly awesome. And hope to catch you on the next one. And thank you so much, Michelle. Y'all have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you.